from midnight 6 in the morning.
Good morning, everybody. It is a crazy morning. I think you can say summer movie season is officially here. We got Andre, the boss man, here. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm excited to talk some trailers and then to see Final Destination later tonight.
Yeah, you get to go see that. We also have Scribbles with us. How you doing, Scribe?
Doing pretty good. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trailer Day.
It is indeed. We also have a Canadian joining us at the last second, eating some breakfast.
Pizza, lunch.
Brunch, lunch, breakfast, pizza?
I hate it when you do that because I want pizza now and I wasn't going to have it.
Pizza in the evening, pizza in the...
This is goat cheese pizza.
Ugh.
Okay, I'm good now. So yeah.
Come on, Roman's making some goat cheese pizza. Wait a minute. He's making what kind of pizza? He's making cheese pizza. No. There was a goat or something in there.
Okay, it's got mozzarella.
It's great
on it.
outdoors.
It's got mozzarella on it with some goat cheese. But what's wrong with goat cheese? It's delicious.
Nothing. We're just picking on it. It's a scene from Great Outdoors. That's why I did it.
Oh,
I'm Norwegian. I have goat cheese all the time.
I was going to say, he probably has it, yeah.
Other weirdo stuff that you wouldn't believe, but hey, that's...
I think I've had it once. But anyway,
like last week, I was in the Arctic Circle. I was having whale. I was like just waiting for the people to protest. Yeah,
Whale cheese.
I still have this thing about not eating anything that could potentially eat me. But anyway, we got Chris Brawley here as well. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, happy hump day. Glad to be here.
Gotta bring up
well, to be fair, Tom, I wasn't having killer whale. I was having I forgot the name of it, but one of those that don't kill you.
Beluga.
It can still eat you, though.
Exactly. I've seen Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Killer whale's a dolphin.
Well,
you know, I never really realized that you're right, Paul. Yeah, it is a porpoise or whatever. Isn't it?
Well, a dolphin technically is a whale.
A little whale?
Different species.
I will eat shark. You know, to Tom's point, I won't eat shark. So
I wouldn't. Nope. That's really tempting fate.
I feel like that is building up a karma power up for me.
Somebody come up to me like, "Here, you want to try tiger?" I'd be like, "Are you fucking insane?"
Well,
I've had rattlesnake.
They don't eat you.
But they can kill you.
Now, if you eat a python, maybe.
You can't eat a python while it's alive.
Welcome to Midnight's Edge Exotic Meats Edition, everybody.
Exotic pets, yes, indeed. Now let's get through this because we have some very, very exciting news or trailers to get through. Let's see what you guys are talking about on the chat.
Let's continue the introductions. I don't think we were completely done with introductions.
No, I got Chris Brawley.
Yeah, you got me. I'm good. Everybody knows me.
I finally got Paul quiet enough for 2 seconds.
Yeah, with his mouth full.
He had his mouth full for 2 seconds. He's the only one I know that talks more than I do.
It's all good.
Thanks, Andre.
We also have Pack of Protons in the house. How you doing this morning, buddy? Sends in $5. Says, one problem I have with the cast is, except for Lois, most look like they come out of CW show, especially the promo pic I saw on X of Superman. Now, as far as the promotional stuff, I'm not going to get into that part of it. I think the cast is fine. Here's one thing we got to remember: we're all old.
Yep.
So everybody who does anything now is going to seem younger and younger and younger to us, which is funny because I think Corn Sweat is actually older than Christopher Reeve was when he took on the role.
I think you're right.
Because Christopher Reeve, I think, was only like 24 years old, if I remember right.
Something like that, mid-20s.
Yeah.
I think Lois's hair looks natural. It looks dyed. If I'm
maybe
honest.
a little bit, but
yeah, but otherwise, I mean, whatever.
But again, that's all subjective. So
yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. Hyper Guyver 2 said, "I still
Do
can't
a whole
believe."
show on Lois's hair.
Hey, I'm very attuned to people's hair. Trust me. I know Tom is as well. Thank you.
Yep.
Indeed. Hyper Guyver 2 says, "I still." What was that, Paul?
The Pate channel.
Hyper Guyver 2 says, "Still can't believe that the character from the Japanese adult film is getting their first American adaptation by Disney to boot." Ironheart. Yes, indeed. You're muted, Chris.
Thanks. That's an Ironheart reference. You beat me to it, Tom. Sorry.
Yeah. No good. No, it's all good. I see what you're saying there. But you didn't have your audio on. Crimzilla says Ironheart is going to be MCU's The Acolyte, the level disaster. No wonder why they were trying to hide this. The Japanese porn parody was better. Actually, it wasn't a porn parody. It was a predecessor, wasn't it? It came out before the Marvel version. They were stupid enough to call their version Ironheart.
Yes.
That was the
There's
idiocy.
a Japanese porn called Ironheart.
Yes, and it's a very similar character, as my understanding is. Like, it's a superhero, but it's a porn movie. Yeah. It's not a parody of anything as far as I know either, other than maybe like Sentai type stuff or whatever you want to call it. But yeah. I don't know my anime. I'm not hip. I'm not with it.
I think it was meant to parody just the Iron Man character in general.
That could
but
be.
Not, yeah, but then they decided to take that name, or they were completely unaware of it and then made Ironheart the Marvel character. Yeah.
The character, the comic book character debuted in 2016, but the adult film character was 2014. So
right.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And let's take a moment to appreciate that the year 2016, when this character debuted, the MCU was already well underway. It was already in a very mature phase in 2016. And this is when also Marvel Comics were at their absolute worst and their absolute wokest, and they were shedding readers en masse. So they had to basically go away from this all new, all different Marvel, where the policy was basically to do the MCU in the comics, replace all of their classical characters with their mantle being taken over by younger and more diverse characters. That's where this character comes from. It's a freaking embarrassment to bring anything from this era, anything at all, into the movies and the big screen.
Sure.
Especially when you consider all of the decades of amazing stories that they skipped right over to get to the absolute bottom of the barrel that arguably destroyed Marvel Comics and that they still haven't recovered from.
No, I blame Sana Amanat. She's the one that created Miss Marvel, the character.
Not Miss yes, you're right, Miss Marvel, yes.
She's now in charge of creative direction or whatever she's doing at Marvel Studios. So she's the one trumpeting this stuff too in a big way. It's like read the room, right? Read the comic shop. Look at your sales. This makes no sense. And I think they released the poster today for Wonder Man, which is going to be a flop also.
I haven't seen that.
Care.
No. I don't think they care. I think you're right. I think they don't care. Or this is just an intentional deconstruction of a once great brand. She even, I remember when she started in the mid-teens talking about Marvel's always been a boy brand. The Chris Gore comment about Disney making Star Wars no longer a boy brand. She was trying to convert. She wasn't wanting to make it a girl brand, Marvel, but she wanted to make it a lifestyle brand, which obviously meant you want things to be more inclusive. And that's when they came out with those characters a couple of years later, Snowflake and Safe Space. I think
Safe Space.
Yeah, that never came out.
Yeah, they never came out as totally
the new Warriors.
But the writer of that was the same guy that wrote a children's book called Santa's Gay Husband. I mean, I don't know where Marvel was finding these people, but there was definitely an agenda in play.
Absolutely. And that agenda destroyed Marvel as we know it. It destroyed the comics.
And this is a fruit of that poison tree.
And this is why most people like myself don't consider any comic book characters created past 2012 actual canon. And this is where I hate it when it gets invoked, because to me it's like they're like, but it was in the comics, or it was a character in the comics. And it's like, well, when was it created? Oh, it was created in 2016. It's like, that doesn't count. Doesn't count. Why? Because the reason is they created it just so they could make a movie out of her, shove that character into a Marvel movie or TV show. That's why.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why.
It's the
cannot convince me. Yeah, exactly. That character could even exist for any other reason than to virtue signal.
Yeah.
Right. That's the problem we have.
Disney
and I'm somebody who
hates
redundant characters.
When Disney bought it, they used the comics as the farm league for the projects they were going to make later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you even had artists and writers that would go into it with that idea in mind.
Yep.
Right, that this was supposed to end up becoming a Marvel movie or TV show or whatever.
Right.
Well, also so they could have full ownership over the character, not have to pay
Yeah.
the legacy artists and writers or anything that they used from the past.
There
Also,
was that
just
aspect too, yeah.
just a slight tie-in. Salma Amanat gave a TEDx talk in 2014, talking all about her inspirations with comic books and things, and that was kind of a warning sign at the time.
I think Travert, has it right here. Iron Heartburn is more like it. So let's start. Let's keep moving on here. We got Dr. Longdongler, who sends it £1.99 with a thumbs up to remind you to pound that like button if you haven't already. Please do. Dark King says, rest in peace, Robert Benton. Thanks for the films. Yeah, I saw that. That's too bad. Rest in peace, Robert. Klekioki says, freaking hate Soup's trailer. Oh, well, there you go.
I'm in a disagreement with that.
Well, we'll find out in just a few minutes. We got Jason Webster. We'll get into it more, I should say. With an Australian 5 says, let's get ready to rumble. In the blue corner, weighing 238 pounds. Souped up man in the red corner, weighing 108 pounds, 109 after Cheerios. Iron Fart. I like the after Cheerios part. That's great. Hollywood Burns says, if they smart, they dump Iron on one day. Superman is great. Actually, no, I heard they're dumping 3 episodes on day one. Then I don't know if they're dumping the other 3 episodes a week later, if they're just going to spread them out. But yeah, it's like 6 episodes is all they're going to be doing of Iron Fart. Joe Pat 87 says, I just heard that Max will be changing their name back to HBO Max. How fitting. Soon enough, they'll be HBO straight up, which is funny because I just shared that story in the background. So yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Zaslav
As long
is
as they
finally
bring
smart
back
enough.
that flyover shot that went through the neighborhood and
Yeah.
Remember how we spoke about this when they made the change initially? Like, this stupidest name change ever. Because the brand name isn't Max, it's HBO.
Well,
If
maybe
anything,
think
they
of
should just-
Cinemax when they did it. Adding
it
Max
was basically.
to anything is retarded.
If you look at the original logo, that's what it is. It's HBO and Cinemax crammed together.
Right.
And they dropped the the HBO because they didn't want it to be associated with HBO, which was known as more of an adult brand. I'm like, well, that makes no sense considering Cinemax is more known as an adult brand. But
Not just that, but HBO is a cable channel. Max was streaming.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that was the thing is, yeah, I
just
get what
been
they're.
HBO Plus.
Well, I get their understanding behind it, but I don't think they saw what they were actually doing because, like I said, when you pull off the HBO, all you think of is Cinemax. Yeah,
It was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no.
HBO is the number one well-known cable channel, and when you sit there and think about what do you think about HBO, home box office, movies at home.
Yep.
Well, they already had it built in. The other problem was they already had 2 other streaming services with HBO attached to it that I think they had to conglomerize into HBO Max basically too, like HBO Go and
Yep.
I can't remember what the other one's called, but yeah.
Where's Showtime? I mean, what did they just lose?
No, they're part of Paramount Plus now.
Mm.
I don't know if they're still separate at all, but yeah. And then Professor R2's in the house says Disney Marvel's Robin Hood.
Well, it's funny R2 says that because just after I saw the trailer, Tom, I just shared it with you there. I made that poster.
Robin Hood.
Because I just thought watching that trailer, I got so many vibes from Robin Hood.
I got some vibes, all right.
Doesn't that look like that's some sort of Ridley Scott alien robot thing behind her?
Yes.
I'm not sure that's I guess Ryan Coogler though is the brand now.
They made sure, that you knew this was from executive producer Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Well, I've got just as a reference, I've got a promotional video for the original Iron Man film where Tony Stark is standing right in front of something like that with the first top half of the harness. So that's what it's a callback to.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not something that was.
You might not want to remind us that the super genius Tony Stark, inventor and brilliant engineer, built it out of scraps in a cave.
Right. That too. Yeah.
Oh well.
Actually, yes, because she made her out of scraps from a dumpster.
In this one, she's going to do it illegally.
Yay.
I think she also has help too with this one, doesn't she? Looks like
the bad guy.
Well,
yeah.
she had a suit in the Black Panther thing already. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, and this takes place after that. So every time I was watching the trailer, I kept thinking, well, how is it that she's only now like rebooting her building the suit because she already had a suit, didn't she?
And where does she get the money?
Wakanda, I think, was the first.
That's what the
instance.
trailer's about. Didn't you see? She gets in with this bad guy to get all the parts illegally.
The
The
hood.
first half of the trailer was her stuck in an elevator, so I was getting bored fast.
Well,
I mean,
to be fair, though, in Paul's defense, it was a very forgettable trailer, so I don't remember, or I don't blame you for having halfway forgotten it already.
I remember most of it.
The problem I have with Ironheart, and this is purely me, is that there's very few properties that I have been so predisposed to hate as I do this one, right from the bat, right off the bat. That's a me issue. Okay?
No, that's a universal issue.
I think that's a pretty universal issue, but I get what you're saying.
No, but
Paul.
I mean, I don't want to hate anything. I mean, I'm going to watch this, but I'm going to hate watch it. And I hate admitting that. And it's not something that I would normally do. I grew to hate The Acolyte. I'm going to hate this right from the beginning.
Yeah, but it's not your
That's my fault.
I mean, yeah, but they've set it up
I agree.
for you to hate it. I mean, this character is essentially a villain. Look at her motivation: is that she wants to be like what, iconic?
Well,
What kind of freaking hero. I mean, remember Deadpool and Wolverine. What was his character arc? Because he wanted to be part of the Avengers in the beginning because he needed it. He had to learn some level of humility. He had to rise to the occasion.
Oh, she has none.
That's this woman's here. She's like basically, I want to be iconic because I deserve it.
Yeah, she's
That's
Echo.
her motivation.
Same as Echo.
Echo. Yes, there's another one.
Another villain.
I hate to say this, but and I did a video on this a long time ago, and this is my ego coming out. I did it before Chris Gore. With regards to corporate culture and how Disney princess culture ate the boy culture of Marvel and Lucasfilm. So I just want to say that I have to put that there. I was there first with the boy girl thing. But notwithstanding that, I also did another video on 99% of the women that they've hired, let me preface it that way, really can't do tough. In fact, they imitate men being tough.
Yes.
And it drives me nuts. It's a certain tone, it's a certain bitterness, it's a certain swagger. And what's wonderful, and I hate to say it, the wonderful about guys who can play bad guys is that, I'm sorry, they have a much bigger range. They just do. They can laugh and scowl at the same time. Women who take on this role for whatever reason feel, possibly because of their size difference, possibly because they lack gravitas, possibly because they lack the vocal cords of a man, that they have to scowl their way through everything to be tough all the time. It drives me crazy. So I'm not trying to blame women in particular, but the women that they hire.
It's not women, Paul. You're 100% right. It's the direction they're getting. It's the writing they're getting. And you hit the nail on the head. It's because the people that are writing this, they're writing what they view men as.
Yes,
that's the problem.
Well, they've confused strength with some physicality with
and
masculinity.
Being an asshole and shit,
yeah. You can be a strong character, but without having to be an asshole. But they don't know how else to write a woman as strong without being an asshole.
I think it's particularly clever here.
Finding their own thing.
Yeah, just to your point, because this is exactly to the point you just made.
Drives me nuts.
Think about a different trailer altogether. The best trailer of the year, namely the trailer for Peacemaker Season 2.
Yeah.
There you have James Gunn's wife, who is a female character on that show, and she's mean and she's angry and she's beating up all the men and she's scowling, just like you said. And what did the doctor tell her? You suffer from a particularly bad case of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
That's a meta commentary right there.
Yep. Yeah. And if you watch the trailer for the new Charlize Theron Netflix thing, The Old Guard 2,
yes.
I'm calling it's a terrible trailer. Like, it's horrific. but I call it a chick dick flick.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I'm tired of these chick dick flicks where, and Charlize is actually pretty good. She was in that one thing where Atomic
Blonde.
Which I thought she equated herself pretty well as someone who I could believe in that role. But the cast that's supporting her, which is very diverse, are just horrific. And this Riri Williams thing, we'll get into Ironheart. I'm thankful that they changed the actual suit from what it was earlier, which looked like a flower had exploded.
Oh yeah.
This one is a little bit more credible, but here, in this thing, she's and they did the thing which is straight out of Star Trek Discovery, where how many times did a character say, "You're the best, you're the smartest"?
Oh man!
Oh my
It was
God!
all
I mean,
over.
was it 5 times that someone had to
Yeah.
say, like, blow smoke up
This
her ass?
Let's
This is
dial it
another
back.
problem. Yeah, this is
Terrible.
another problem with instead not just having women act like assholes and all that kind of shit to quote unquote be like
They're
men.
the best.
That's the other side of it.
Well, the character just comes off, even with the way this actress is portraying her, as abrasive, unlikable, narcissistic.
You have to have everybody telling them how perfect they are.
It's-
And that's
it's just
it's the
unlikable.
Mikey Spock syndrome, right? Like everybody in the room has to be going, "You are the best." They're not giving you enough credit. Nobody gives you enough credit. You're the smartest, brightest, biggest beam of light we have, and that's every single scene in every episode.
And rather than the character having to demonstrate that through her actions, we just get people just leveling praise on her. Oh my gosh, you're not the only genius at MIT. Oh, God.
And that's funny, by the way. But I think that, like, compared to Tony Stark, right? Like, RDJ was narcissistic and self-centered and was super rich and super smart, and he was portrayed that way, but he had at least a sense of charm. Like, there was some charm about him, and I don't know if that's because, okay, I'm a guy, I grew up reading Iron Man.
Oh no, he's a guy.
Well, there's another side to it too.
Stop.
He does start out. Let me say real quick.
Look at
Are there
Lee.
women responding to this portrayal, right? Like, in other words, I'm a guy, I liked Iron Man growing up. I watched RDJ and I'm like, okay, I like this. And yeah, he's cocky, but he gets put in his place a few times, particularly by Pepper, which I liked a lot. I don't know that we have that same dynamic going on here. It looks like they're trying to do it. And I know they've also cast a couple of cuties for the ladies, some beefcake for the ladies on this show. So I'm wondering if the way I liked Iron Man, will women respond the same way to Ironheart, despite the girl being abrasive and out for her own self-glory rather than being a hero?
I don't think women like that.
I don't either, but I don't know.
And Tony Stark
unless they've got septum rings, they don't want it.
And Tony Stark is the type of character where if it wasn't for him getting shut in that cave, the way he did and kidnapped and almost died, he probably would be a villain. Most people don't even think about it that way because
and he has a weakness now too.
And that's what his arc is all about, is how he becomes a good man. Because prior to that, he's just all self-centered, all about himself, all about his money, all about his power, doesn't care about anybody else.
Hold on. I mean, when in the cave, he put on the armor to save himself in the beginning, true, but then they built a suit of armor to try to get Yinsing out. And
that's what I'm saying. He
was already a good man. He was already a good man before he got out there.
Discovered how his weapons were being used.
Exactly. I was going to say, I don't know about that. He would be one of the villains that they'd be fighting in one of the movies if it wasn't for that one little event. If it wasn't for him getting kidnapped and nearly dying, he would be a villain.
The thing is, his mentor or his partner, played by Bridges, actually sold the weapons to the enemy. So he showed the true nature. So the point Chris is making, I think, is correct, is that Iron Man, Tony Stark, believes he's doing something good for the planet and then sees his weapons being used by the enemy.
True.
And I don't think that turns him per se, but enlightens him enough to investigate this is not how envision myself. I envision myself as offering weapons to the good guys on this planet. And so, I mean, what's wonderful about the turn too, even though we know Robert Downey Jr. is a leftist, he still remained a womanizer. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool that he didn't suddenly make this complete turn where suddenly he became a vegan.
Yeah.
That would have been completely false. I think that's the genius of what Robert Downey Jr. with the character is that he maintained distasteful aspects to his character. He didn't abandon everything.
Yeah, Marvel has had a history of flawed heroes, right?
Yes.
Sure. That's the nature of Marvel.
Peter Parker and stuff like that. But I'm wondering, there's this focus on Riri Williams. Riri, that's so hard to say. Ironheart being out for self-glory and all this kind of stuff. Maybe she does have this character arc where maybe she's trying to do something to really make herself look good, and all of a sudden has this self-realization. Holy cow, I don't need to be this way. These people really need help, and I can give that help and not take any credit for it. If she does that, they might could do something good, but I just don't.
Will not happen.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen.
Now, this has happened with characters in Marvel before. Doctor Strange started out as an arrogant, egotistical, narcissistic surgeon who had to be brought down low by the accident that took his hands away from him, and then he eventually had to build himself back up through the Ancient One and discipline and all the stuff that happened off in the
which was a selfish
Himalayas.
quest,
Yes, exactly, and that's why Doctor Strange's origin, in my opinion, is one of the greatest superhero origin stories ever, because he was at the height of being the bad guy and then went completely 180, but still had a level of arrogance about him even after the fact. So if that was the arc here, that would be amazing. I don't trust Disney Plus or Marvel to actually take that risk or do that correctly.
Yeah, likewise.
No, because they will not chance making her look bad. This is Echo 2.
Oh gosh, what a shame.
Right, and that's what I was saying.
Marvel has treated this character like royalty. You know, Reed Richards, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Reed Richards from Fantastic Four has always been basically nicknamed the smartest man in the Marvel universe, right? And they've elevated Luna, the Moon Girl and Dinosaur, up to like second place, like the second smartest, and all these others. And Riri Williams is apparently in the top 10 smartest characters in the Marvel universe.
That's the Mikey Spock syndrome, right? Because you guys hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Like the thing is Tony Stark was able to do what he was able to do and show us what he was able to do, right? In the film before he ever became Iron Man. Yeah. You didn't have a dozen people calling him the smartest person this, the smartest person that, the best person this, the best person that. And that's what this whole fucking show is going to be, because she's never actually going to show us any of those things necessarily.
The only thing I can detect from the trailer as far as a plot arc is the character that she's allying with and or will become the villain, the Hood, is attached to, in the comic books, he's attached to a demon. In this one, I think he's supposed to be attached to Dormammu or something. Either way, I think what's going to be here is that Riri Williams is going to have this ego about her. The Hood is going to offer her a Faustian bargain in order to fulfill herself. And then the arc, and then the arc will be that she'll realize, oh no, I'm doing this for the wrong reasons, and then she'll have her awakening, which seems, again, counterproductive to what I think was supposed to have been established in the movie Wakanda Forever, where she already had a suit and she was already working for the good guys. So I'm not quite sure how she goes from being a smart, good person down to I'll give my soul away to be iconic and then come back again. It's bizarre.
It's because she's naive.
Wakanda Forever was a backdoor pilot for Ironheart. I'm just thankful that Multiverse of Madness wasn't a backdoor pilot for an America Chavez TV show.
Well, it kind of probably was meant to be, but nobody liked the character. It was also a sequel to another show. But
that was
speaking of Riri,
scene, by the way, in Wakanda with Riri and what's her name, that was possibly the most insufferable scene in the movie.
Well, which one? There were so many insufferable ones.
She was in college and they were telling her to join them.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought it was more insufferable when they burnt the water off the Mexicans' back, but hey, that's me.
Anyway, speaking of Riri Williams, Mark Daly sends in 5 and says, even worse than Ironheart is her civilian name, Riri Williams. My ex used the term Riri as slang for rider of the short bus. Yes, I can't believe they didn't know this. See, I brought this up many times before. And the only reason I know this is because Clerks the Animated Series they had to cut it out of an episode because they figured out what the hell it meant. Because Kevin and the guys would keep throwing in little things here and there and see if they could get it past the censors. And I think they got Riri past them once. And they didn't know what it meant the first time.
Yeah.
And then they found out what it meant the second time. And I'm like, why would you call your name a retard? Like, I don't know anybody, not a single person in the world who has ever had the nickname Riri. Like,
Well,
if that's her
maybe-
real name, her parents hate her.
Maybe that was the writer, Michael.
No, he said he
Bendis.
based it on, I can't remember where he got the name, but I called bullshit on it because I think he said it was an actual person's name that he had met. And I'm like, I don't want to meet that person.
Well, it sounds like he's taking the
This could
piss.
have been fun as a Pepper Potts becomes Ironheart, you know?
Oh, Lord, we don't need that either, though.
Didn't we get that in Iron Man 3?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And I think even in one of the Endgame or whatever it was, too.
No, we needed the kid from Iron Man 3 to become Iron Lad. That would have been fine.
Yeah. Go one for one. No, sends in 50 Mexican dollars. I really wish Disney enter a death spiral, but they're too big for that. I can only draw some glee with the Marvel and Star Wars kingdoms being on fire.
Yes.
No,
One trailer I hope you guys did catch was Nobody 2. I know we're not
Yes.
talking about that, but
Yes.
boy, what a banger that was.
And DS Ford has all the answers. He's been a member for 42 months. Thank you for that. Chaos Sonic 1 says, what makes it worse is Ironheart was the name of a Japanese Iron Man porn parody. Okay, so it was a parody of Iron Man. Chaos Sonic 1 also says, I would also like to remind people from the comic readers in school, Bendis wrote it, Riri asked her old white lady teacher to oppress her, not kidding.
It's
True.
true. Yep.
And then Captain Fandom Nerd has been here for 46 months. And thank you for that, Captain Fandom Nerd. And yeah, like this whole Riri Williams thing, I know why they dropped this trailer today. So it would get buried.
It sure did.
And look, this thing was everything wrong with Marvel. The music, the cinematography, the way it's shot, the characterization, you could smell the story from a mile away. I think you guys are right. It's going to be a reversal Iron Man story where she's basically working with this arms dealer guy and she's going to get all her parts from him. And then she's going to find out he's stealing them from Stark Industries anyway. Right. So it's going to be all this big round circle thing to where she's technically not stealing the parts. He is. Right. So it's going to be that's what it's going to end up being.
Yeah. And the other thing that bothers me too with these magical people is that you don't really know what their background was that caused them to be such geniuses. In Tony Stark's case, his dad was a genius. So there's this lineage that kind of made sense. So what's her claim to fame? That she's just, a genius DEI hire?
She's oppressed, Paul.
She's oppressed. This is what bothers me. You know what? They can all be fixed, but I think they're afraid to fix it also.
We actually have a name, a word for, or two words, three words for what she has. They were uttered by Nick Fury in The Marvels. Black girl magic.
Yeah. That's
Use your black girl magic.
Yeah, it's more impressive to not be standing on the shoulders of somebody else. You did it all by yourself. Nobody helped you. I was totally and absolutely independent of everybody else.
like that famous line from Batwoman in the CW show.
Oh, jeez.
That insufferable line that basically set the tone for the show. It's not going to be good until a woman wears it or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, it's just not made for me, right? I'd much rather Disney and Marvel put their energies behind getting that Blade movie done, or maybe bringing Ghost Rider in or something like that. But
They'll ruin that too, though. I don't want Disney to touch any of this stuff anymore. My faith in them is gone. I don't want them to do Blade or Ghost Rider or another Doctor Strange movie.
well, I hear those same arguments with people with the Disney content that's been coming out. They say everything after Lucas sold it is not canon. Although I have heard some praise for Andor. Our reviewer at Bleeding Fool said the show really redeemed itself with the last 3 episodes. But you've always got that old content, and I've always got those old comics. These collections back here are from when I thought the comics were great. I don't care about any of the new ones.
I think Andor is in many ways is a model to re-envision, even though it's hugely flawed. I I think it's on the right path in terms of having a parallel universe where you've got the goofy shit and something that feels adult. I think Andor did a great job with the Empire and not so good job with the Cassian parts.
As long as Jack Black and Lizzo don't show up.
Ay, Columba.
Oh boy, yeah, that was a
low point.
moment.
Yeah,
That
my
was-
wife has not seen any of the Star Wars content past Force Awakens, right? So she
lucky her.
Yeah, she's not seen Rogue One, and I thought, and so we're watching Poker Face now. Have you guys seen the Ryan Johnson TV show Poker Face?
No, heard of it, but no.
It's actually good, and it uses a 70s detective show sort of aesthetic with the credits and everything. I mean, it's worth watching at least the first couple of episodes. But I thought, and we're also watching, what is that show with the guy? Doesn't matter. So we'll watch shows all the way through once they're completely out. And I thought, maybe I should get her to watch Andor seasons 1 and 2 and then watch Rogue One and just see what she thinks, because doesn't it all kind of lead to Rogue One? And then at the end, you finally see this uncanny valley version of Princess Leia.
Yes.
I'm just curious what her reaction would be, because she might be a good test case subject for someone who's not inundated. I mean, she knows I run a website called Bleeding Fools. She does not read the website. She does not watch the YouTube channels. She's not a Midnight's Edge subscriber. I love my wife. Don't get me wrong. We're very well suited for each other, but she might be a nice test case subject, because we do sit together and watch these shows. And Andor being one of the more mature ones, we just watched Sharp Objects, the HBO series. I don't know if you guys saw that with Amy Adams. Very heavy material, which she liked. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I even bother to burden her with
too long? It's just too long to get to the meat of the story moments in it. Not that it has to be pew 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 pew, but I mean and of course the first series famously gets rid of the motivation of Cassian looking for his sister. Like that's gone.
Chris, if you're looking for permission to use your wife as a guinea pig for entertainment purposes, by all means.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I sucked her into Severance, and we've enjoyed the heck out of that show.
I would recommend that you let her, that if you haven't already, watch 1670. The Polish sitcom. I think it's 1670. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Do I have the right year? Let's see now. Netflix.
I've still got it. Maybe I'm going to get her to watch with the captions the comedy that Andre sent us.
Yeah, 1670. Have you guys heard of 1670?
No.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely. It's
Netflix
sort
series,
of like,
right?
It's sort of like The Office in feudal Poland.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking of like the Polish Blackadder or something.
No, it's it's not as silly as that.
Okay,
it's they deal. It's very funny, and the actors, the cinematography. I mean, they really have a lot of talent in Poland to pull this stuff off. It's very funny. I recommend it.
It's a mockumentary, right? Sort of thing.
No.
Okay.
It isn't. They talk to the camera, but it's just life. Their life and their struggles and their family, dealing with the idiot son and the harsh wife and the neighbor who's got slightly more land than he does.
Okay.
We
may check it out. I've tried to get my wife to watch some of these sort of mockumentary style shows, like Documentary Now.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of shot that way, but it isn't.
Okay. She may not be a Bill Hader fan, though. She didn't care for Barry much either.
No, but I have a hate for showbiz related shows.
Okay.
Because I don't give a flying fidoo over their problems. Oh no, they didn't get the audition. Oh no, they're going to be. They didn't get the sweet table exactly right. They didn't get the Smarties correct. Oh no,
Right.
I was in show business for 20, 30 years. The life of a person in show business is of no interest to the general public. You know,
Now, tell me you've seen extras.
I have not.
Okay.
I've seen parts of it. I heard it's very, very good, but the parts I've seen, Ricky Gervais was hilarious in it. I mean,
It's great. I mean, it's cynical, but it's great. I think you would probably like it. I think it's on Prime.
okay. Last time I tried to see it, it was on something I couldn't see. But
Okay.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I heard Extras was great. And yeah, listen, I just have a prejudice against show business themed products.
Yeah, I don't blame.
So you don't want to watch them.
Well, this is one of the reasons I didn't like the Seth Rogen show, which I think is.
Well, I have.
Yeah, that's
just the
probably
name Seth
disingenuous.
Rogen makes me not.
Yeah,
want
I was just
to
going to say that's probably disingenuous compared to this. This is one I'd actually say is probably an exception to the rule. Anytime Ricky does something,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
He's a
being
clever
more
guy.
honest and exactly. Like I think you'd really get into extras and even the Life is Short is a great one too.
Well, you directed me to The Paper, right?
Yes,
Tom?
yeah,
And
the
so-
spinoff for The Office. Yep.
And I read the whole Variety thing, and I did a video on it. Thank you very much for giving me the impetus to do that. And the premise sucks. Like, nobody wants to be working in a dead medium, knowing that you could be fired at any moment. Why would you work for an organization knowing that you're not long for it? It's a really bad premise. Now, if they had set that, like I was in the newspaper business, if they had set that in the 2000s when the internet started eating away at its the little ads that are at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have done local news. They should have done a
But
local.
they are doing local news. They're doing Toledo.
Toledo. Okay, I'll check that out because
But
I used to work in.
That doesn't debut until September. But to me, again, it's one of those things. It's newspaper business is kind of like show business too. Like, who cares? And it's going to be a political
sure.
political nonsense. Anyway, sorry. I have now taken this to all sorts
Yes.
of. What are we talking about?
What are we talking
We're
about?
going to talk
Yeah.
about the Superman trailer now. Let's get into this. We got Math, Fun, and Games with $2 and says the Superman trailer is great. Tim Hayes has been here for 46 months. Thank you for that, Tim Hayes. Stone Racket sends in a member chat and says, greetings to you all. Hey, Tom, I'm a proud owner of the NECA 1989 Batman utility belt, complete with grappling gun and batarang. Pretty neat, huh? Yeah, I saw it at Walmart the other day. I was like, God, I wish I had the $40 or $50, whatever it was, to get that. But yeah, it wouldn't fit my fat ass anyway. Green Raptor says, why watch Rogue One when you can play the actual hero of rebellion that retrieved Death Star plans with Star Wars Dark Forces instead? Well, you have that option. That's
You
true.
do have that option, or you could go watch the fan edit that's just the battle at the end for about 25 minutes, which is great.
But yeah, so other than Riri, we did get another trailer this morning, and this is the one that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
We got some Superman in the house. So let's get everybody's reactions to this new full-on trailer for Superman.
Are you allowed to start it?
Can you play it?
I'm
Mute
not going
it
to
or
play the whole
anything?
thing. I'm not going to play it.
Okay. You can jump to different points though, right?
I'm just going to jump to different spots. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's start with you, Scribe. Since you're having some internet issues, we'll see if it holds up. We got to look at Superman and some of our first character moments between Lois and Clark and some other business. What did you feel about the new Superman trailer? Great to hear you. He's having some internet issues.
Oh shoot. I'll say I liked it. Uh-oh, we lost Tom too.
No, I'm still here. Oh, there goes Scribe. But anyway, go
Thank
ahead,
God.
Chris.
I didn't like them
Tell
anyway.
us your
I liked
feelings
it.
on it.
No, I liked it. It kind of had some moments in it that I thought, okay, this looks poignant. This looks good. I'm a little bit impressed. I still feel like we're going to have to deal with the gang of mutant toxic monkeys or whatever somewhere. We just weren't showing them in the trailer. And I did catch that AI fake trailer the other day that had Brainiac in it. So I was glad that wasn't part of this trailer. But I thought it looked good. It had a lot of hope. The only two things I didn't like about what I saw, I thought the Cronkite reference, which I think we said behind the scenes here beforehand, I thought that was way too dated and is going to go right over probably the intended audience's head. And I thought that I'm not sure about opening the sequence with the interview that, we already saw, basically a similar style interview, not exactly the same topics in Superman, but with Christopher Reeve. And I kind of felt like Clark, or Superman as she's calling him, really seemed to get quickly impatient and angry, which was a little worrisome for how they're handling the character. But beyond that, I give it an A minus, really. Trailer, I thought it was a good first trailer, and I think it's going to do real well at the first weekend at the box office.
Yeah, and I am pretty much in agreement with yours. I would say I thought that the beginning was pretty clever. It looked, okay, we're doing this again with the interview. But then my expectations were subverted in the best ways possible, because it was an actual interview with tough questions, and you can see Superman wasn't expecting it. He was expecting to be praised for being so noble, and instead it's like, did you think through what you were doing here? What you can do with the power balance of the world? And that absolutely is true. It's a very, very good point. He probably hasn't thought everything through, and he was confronted with that. Now, I do agree with Chris's point that this Superman, he kind of lost his cool, and he seemed a little bit like on the emotional side. Now, I'm sure he's gone through a lot, because we see like the public and everything has been turned against him. That's probably not really what he wanted. But yeah, that was like a little bit emotional of him. And that is something that should make people even more nervous. This person who's going to lose his cool so easy, can he be trusted with all this power that he has to basically upturn the world if he wants to? I kind of appreciated that video game and the subsequent comic book of Injustice, where Superman goes nuts, and also this other James Gunn produced movie. I forgot the name of it.
Brightburn.
Yeah, exactly, Brightburn. Yes,
Yeah.
which I thought was brilliant, because like, what if a Superman-like creature came to this world and he wasn't good? We'd all be fucked, wouldn't we? And that's why he gets tough questions. That's why people are worried and freaked out about him. I actually think that this is a very interesting way to approach a Superman movie, and I have renewed faith in this movie now after seeing the trailer. I was a little bit nervous there. I had some reservations, and I still do, but my reservations are significantly lessened after seeing the trailer. I'm much more excited now.
See, I still feel like it's a red flag. I felt like the interview hinted to me of another deconstruction of the character and trying to undercut what Superman stands for and turning him into a character of questionable morality or something. So I can't say I'm being devil's advocate for the sake of being it, but at the same time, I just thought that really sound like a Superman story I want to watch, where someone is like, I stopped a war, I saved lives. Yeah, but well, should you have? It goes right back to that Man of Steel thing, where it's like, should I save the kids in the bus? Should you have, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know. That was my first thought.
I got a naivety vibe out of it, not a petulant vibe.
Yeah,
I think him just getting angry, though, was the sort of thing. I'm hoping that what it culminates in, maybe humanity rethinking their foreign policy a little bit, and Superman, I want him to be heroic. At the end of the day, I want Superman to be selfless and heroic and good.
Oh, he will be.
Yeah. And hopefully it won't be Orange Man bad. And hopefully it won't give fodder to either the left or the right wing. It will just be entertainment. That's what I want.
Orange Man in fancy new plane.
Yeah, the 51st state, I don't want any of that.
I don't see that.
I don't either, but I am a little worried about the social commentary meta elements that are, it's clear they're throwing stuff at Superman. They're mad at him.
But it's modern.
Yeah,
they're
but
making it now.
here's what I'm worried about is that it's going to be the president is some a-hole orange man bad type guy, and it's his supporters, the president's supporters, that are out there making hay.
But the president might not even be in this.
He might not, but it wouldn't be the first time we've had a president in a Superman movie.
No, it's
No, he doesn't have to
give
be.
this
It
two
only
thumbs
needs
up.
to be an orange man bad stand-in. Is his point?
That's
I
right.
think that would be silly. It doesn't need it. I give the trailer 2 thumbs up. I mean, my first take was that Superman was ruggedly handsome. I liked the way he filled out the white shirt. Brosnahan, I like her as an actress. She's good, and it just seems to be packed with action. That this is going to be like a 2-hour plus movie. It's just jammed with stuff, and I was really happy to see that. I thought, wow, okay, there seems to be a lot of popcorn in here. This looks like fun. Independent of
It's
the
got to
story.
launch the whole DCU basically. This is gonna have it all in there. Hopefully it won't feel bloated, but it will. I think it'll feel stuffed and like a roller coaster ride. I hope so. Yeah,
That's what it feels like. That's my sense of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I approve of the trailer as well. So, are we universally ascribed? Did you like the trailer, or are you just worried about it?
I'm mildly worried. Let's just put it that way, because I want it to do well. I want Superman to be the character that I remember him being. I mean, my Superman is Christopher Reeve. I never really read the comic books much as a kid. Most of my exposure was to Christopher Reeve's performance and that sort of ideal. And so that's what I want, but I can't help but be wary. I can't help but, it's like so many other things these days. We're looking for landmines where there might just be,
it's a stop.
petunias. Yeah, well, I'm not. It's hard to do so, Paul. I apologize. I've been conditioned to be wary by the studios. I don't trust them. They haven't earned my trust. I want this to earn my trust back, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, you have to take things at face value. You either like this thing or you don't. I didn't like the one trailer where he was attended to by by Daft Punk. I mean,
the robots or the dog. Yeah.
I wasn't too hot on that, but this I really, really liked. It looks like a great roller coaster. Very sumptuous movie, I would say.
Yeah, I thought it looked great.
All I know is I watched this morning and I felt a lot better after watching it than I did that teaser one that you were just talking about, Paul.
Right. Me too.
Is there some things to be a little bit concerned about? Probably. But I want to see where this story goes. I want to see what this is about. I want to see this Superman. I got some hope. I got some brightness, a lot of comic book evocation in it, if that's a word. It's getting mostly liked. Like it's 100, like the first person sent it, it's 104K to 2.4K downvote. So 104K to 2, like that's huge, right? And now it's up to 126K likes. I don't know what the downvote is at this point. Look, I get some people are feeling the way they are, but I feel like this has been the most nitpicked movie in history.
Sure.
It has had an active campaign against it from before it even had any, probably even a word put down on paper, let alone shot, a shot on, digital video. I'm willing to give it a shot. I get people's reservations. I'm at the point where I'm pretty much tapped out of superheroes anyway, so a Superman or a Batman are all that's going to really get me into the theater anymore. Maybe a Spider-Man, if you know what I mean. I never got into the first season. I watched the first episode. It just didn't do it for me. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't doing anything for me. But this made me feel some stuff. This made me feel like I'm watching a Superman trailer again. I understand Superman's frustration. I can kind of see where the story's going. It's similar to what I was being told. I hope it's good. I hope the fans enjoy it, and I think it looks good, especially compared to the Ironheart trailer, which is the antithesis of this, right? It's like
180 degrees from Ironheart. Yeah, the Superman trailer is miles better and more interesting and attractive than anything Ironheart had.
Okay, so the likes have also pulled away big time. It's 144K likes now to 3.4 downvotes.
Those are the Snyder Bros.
If there's even that many Snyder Bros, to be honest with you.
It looks like this might explore some new things, and I do like the idea that rather than hesitating, they're going to bring in some characters from the wider DCU. The first Man of Steel had, I mean, I could just rattle off scene after scene after scene that I just did not like, that I still hold in disdain, from Clark Kent damaging a $500,000 truck over a spilt beer, to
Right.
the billions of dollars of damage at the end, to daddy issues saying, no, son, you shouldn't have saved those kids, and on and on and on and on. And
I feel like the one line right directly is like a shot at Zack Snyder, where he's like, what was I supposed to do? People were going to die.
Right.
And the thing is that all of us fans, see, this is where the Snyder Bros clash with a lot of the Superman fans. It's not that the Superman fans care that he killed Zod. It's that he killed Zod too fucking late. It's that he waited so fucking long till tens of thousands of people had died. And then finally, as soon as the Brady Bunch is going to get zapped, then he decides to snap his neck.
Yeah.
That's the problem most people had with it. It was like, you went on for 45 minutes fighting with this dude, when if you watch Superman 2, within the first few minutes of fighting Zod and them guys, he's like, he takes it out of town. He gets the fuck out of Dodge, and they're like, he's retreating. He's like, no, he cares. He actually cares about these people, like pets, I suppose. Like they don't understand it, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he actually left the city in Superman 2. Like, I've got to draw these villains out of here before more people are killed. And,
take the fight somewhere.
And that's the kind of passion I get from this Superman, is like, I'm not going to think about other things when people's lives are on the line.
Yeah.
And that's what he's trying to say in this, gotcha interview, that Lois is kind of being a lowballer for doing to him. Let's be real. She took advantage of the situation, and that's Lois Lane. Because that's something Lois Lane would fucking do.
Yeah.
It's a very Lois Lane thing to do, and I can understand why he's pissed. He's not so much pissed that he's being challenged. He's pissed that Lois Lane had the balls to fucking do this to him.
Yeah, I think,
and now he's already agreed to do it. It's too fucking late. Yeah,
right. And he's probably sweet on her at this point. I mean, why else?
They are obviously in a relationship. That's my point. And this isn't them having an interview so much. This is Lois saying this to Superman.
Yeah,
and they're having a fight.
Yeah.
They're having their first, like, probably squabble as far as a couple goes, or whatever you want to say. And this was her way of getting it out there.
Yeah.
I get it. People are misinterpreting this a little bit. I think they're like seeing it as Superman losing his cool. I see it as no. This is Superman pissed at Lois for what she just did to him. He agreed to do this little puff piece interview, and then she just fucking cornered him into a fucking boyfriend-girlfriend argument, and made it a political argument on top of it all. What is something that most couples have been dealing with for the last, I don't know, fucking 8 years? This kind of shit.
Well, I still think he came off a little bit too petulant. He could have done something like, oh, wait, I've got to go save someone. And then he leaves. Or he could have just said, this interview's over, and left, right? It would have had the same impact with less of him looking like he didn't keep his cool. Because
like I said, it's not so much him keeping his cool as he's upset with Lois, I think, is what it is.
Well, but the only time we see Christopher Reeve Superman lose his cool in the first movie is when Lois dies. And then, of course, he does a massive thing like reversing time. My gosh, what power. A very woman thing to do. Thank you, Ram Bam.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is and even Nina's in the chat, and I can send you ladies the link if you want, but it says it was an interview in a living room. He could have just break the voice recorder and left. He could have, but that's my point, is that point it would have been a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, and it already was, and I think that's what Superman was pissed about, was she was taking advantage of the fact that she is his girlfriend, and now she's asking him things that he wouldn't answer to anybody else for.
Sure. My wife and I have disputes occasionally where she wants one thing and I want another, but I don't ever start yelling. I mean, typically.
No, but women are good at manipulating a situation, and that's what I think he's pissed about. He's not pissed about being grilled so much as he's upset at Lois, I think, for actually doing this to him. Sure. And it's like I said, it's more of a couple fight now than it is.
Well, it's a betrayal, right? Because he starts out by saying, am I talking to you as Clark or as Superman? As a Superman. Okay, so now they've switched roles. She's the reporter. He's Superman. It's not Lois and Clark. It's reporter versus Superman. It's the fourth estate versus this godlike being in the world. And so when she starts asking questions, he's confused the roles that they have as one of intimacy rather than professionalism, and then he gets ticked off that he feels like there's been a betrayal when in fact she's being the professional in that situation.
Like it's a personal attack. Exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a hard time separating out himself from the role of Superman.
And that could be
makes
part of
sense.
the arc. Him being
Sure,
able to
sure.
separate his heroics from foreign policies and things like that he represents. You know, we're going to have to see it in context. And I don't mind seeing elements of a character that I don't like because I don't mind flawed heroes. I've already said that. Right.
And I think there's a hell of a lot more to that interview than what we're seeing too, to be fair. And again, I could be wrong. This movie could end up turning out to be shit. But
yeah.
I actually hope it's not, honestly.
No,
I'm getting a better
want it to be
feeling
good.
out now after the trailer I saw, but
yeah, I want all these movies to be good. We know that it can be done. We saw it in the first phase or two of Marvel and in other things. We've seen the heroes that we followed since we were kids done justice on the screen before. To see the downturn depresses me. It really does. I don't want to have to keep being so sour and cynical and questioning, like, is it going to be any good? Do these guys know what they're doing? But like I say, I'm a victim of the mediocrity that's been taken over in the comic book movies for the last 10 years.
And I agree with you because I'm the same way. But like, I see where a lot of people's first reaction is this is going to be the one thing, when I think it's going to be more so about the world realizing it needs Superman, not Superman, finding his place or finding who he already knows who he is. And I think that's what that argument with Lois is kind of about, if that makes sense, is that he already knows he did the right thing. Yeah. The fact that everybody's questioning him, that's what makes no sense to him. Yeah. Right? Like, to him, that's a personal betrayal on Lois to do that to him after he decided to do this for her, when he was doing it as kind of like a, okay, yeah, it's a cute little, I'll give you the exclusive with Superman because you're my girlfriend. Wink.
Yeah.
Well,
it's super.
What he needed to do was yell at her and go, "Why are you siding with Hamas?"
I mean, that's kind of what the argument is in a way.
It is.
I hope he says that.
Yeah, you've got this, as Paul said earlier, sort of a naivety, whatever you say, faced up against the nuances of global politics. It's like there's an overall good, like saving a life is good, but then you're interfering where you shouldn't, and then you get in all these other like sort of pragmatic, nuanced gray area considerations of political nature. And Superman just like, I'm here to save lives and stop people from hurting each other. Why is that so bad?
He's trying to be the big blue Boy Scout. Sorry.
He did grow up on a farm, and he was huffing Roundup.
Roundup.
Roundup. He was snuffing
with his dad.
Even if they're from Krypton.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
could you imagine if he was stopping CIA assassinations? You think they might get upset with Superman? You can't keep saving these people.
Well, here's another bit of the trailer that I actually stuck out to me that I liked. Was clearly, and this kind of answers the costume question. Mom Kent obviously made his costume. So get over it, guys. That's why it looks the way it does.
Oh, there's one tiny change in the trailer compared to the previous clip that we saw. And it could be my imagination, but there was one trailer where they showed someone heaving a brick or something at the back of Superman's head. Yeah, and I commented when I first saw that, why did he blink? And people were commenting, he was taken off guard or whatever. The blink is gone in this one.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the blink is gone.
I didn't notice that part.
I'll have to rewatch it, but I think you're right, because I think I noticed that too, that he didn't this time. But
this time he didn't blink. That I always wondered, well, he's not going to feel it at all, really, or very little. Why would he have blinked?
Yeah.
And they took it out. They listened to me. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
And then Dark King asks a very important question. Does this trailer mention James Gunn enough? Actually, the very little enough. James Gunn was mentioned in the trailer for once. Thank goodness. And then we got Duck Vader, who sends in $10 and says, it's not bad, but not great either. But I'm not buying David as Superman yet. And that's the problem. In my opinion, he doesn't project the aura of Superman. I shouldn't have to watch the movie to feel that. Well, and I don't think this is his fault. This is where I've been saying that James Gunn needs to get out of his own way and put David Cornsweet up front, start promoting these videos of his nerdy stuff that he does and all that kind of stuff to get people to know him. I mean, yes, we got another month or so to get to know him, but still, it's time's ticking.
He looks
And
good. I think he looks
They
good.
did take the blink out, Paul, by the way. Just check.
Oh my
Aha!
gosh! Wow.
Math,
There
fun
is
and
a
game.
there is a slight head
Right.
bob, like he realizes he got bumped in the back of the head, but no eye blink.
So they did discuss it internally.
They heard you, Paul.
Math, fun and game says the trailer made me happy and made me feel
Yep.
hope.
Yep.
Well,
That's my position.
That was the
My position is bent over.
And Kalekiyoki asked, why was he getting frustrated in the interview? I think we kind of answered this already, Kaleki, at least from our perspective, we think is going on. I think he feels more betrayed by Lois than anything. That's my point.
I think, spoiler alert, I think what happened, I think he rips Lois's head off. They cut that scene out, right?
Yay!
I mean, one of the
Fricka
frustrating things about Superman in the comics and in the TV shows is that he always has this thing where, oh, now I'm really mad and I'm going to up my game. And then he goes a little bit later and goes, okay, now I'm really, really mad and I'm upping my power level game until the very end where he goes, okay, that's it. I've had it. Now I'm really, really mad.
Yeah. You know, and No Name might be right that this might be playing more with the idea that Clark Kent is the disguise too, in the aspect of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then on that note, Soul Nightmare says, loved the little Ma and Pa Kent stuff. Yeah, I wish we got to see a little bit more of that. The Ma Kent scene made me smile.
Yeah, that was
she's
fun.
like,
Yeah,
I just watched your boots or whatever. Yeah.
From the first trailer, I thought Ma Kent might have been already dead or something. Like they switched that out or whatever because he wasn't even in the trailer or mentioned at all. And
I didn't
so
even think of
glad.
that aspect of it.
Yeah, because completely absent. I thought of all the people that should be absent in this situation. If Superman's been established for a while, I would assume Pa Kent would be out of the picture. But to see him there, I thought they maybe did a switch up.
No, he'll be a very well-adjusted young boy growing
I
up.
know.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd have had a problem with them switching it up per se, but yeah, I get what you're saying. This is going to be the first time we've had a Superman on screen where Ma and Pa Kent, I think, are still alive together, other than television. So I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I mean, Ma and Pa Kent were alive in the. Well, I guess when Superman was at his fullness, yeah, because
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like in every version prior to this, in Man of Steel and the Superman movies, Pa Kent, and not only that, it's an integral part of him becoming. His death is an integral part of his becoming Superman. In Man of Steel, that's one of the biggest debates of all, is how bad it was done, and it's done perfectly in the first Superman movie. So yeah,
unless every instance we see in the trailers of Pa Kent is a flashback, so we don't know for sure.
I don't think so, but you
I
could
don't
be
think
right.
so.
But
Okay.
This might follow a lot with, I think John Byrne in the late 80s did a Superman sort of reboot for DC Comics.
And the one that keeps getting evoked is What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way or something like that. So that's another one that I think this is taking heavy inspiration from.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's right.
And then Redisaurus says, I still say it has to crush Jurassic World Rebirth to succeed. You know what? I'm normally worried about the Jurassic films. I'm not as worried about this one, Redisaurus. I'm not saying it'll do bad, but I think that since they have 0 of the other cast members in this, that's going to hurt the film with adults. I think kids will be fine with this. But I think
they can both do well.
They can. Yeah. And I think it's going to do well, but I just don't think it's going to do as well as the last 2 Jurassic films did.
Agreed.
Especially the last one, because the last one you had all the original cast back mixed with the new cast, and that was a big deal. But kids love the Jurassic films. So.
Black Widow's in this one.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're completely starting fresh, so we'll see how this rolls. JPS says too much Clark Kent, not enough Superman.
I disagree.
We'll have to see how it actually evens out in the film, but yeah.
No, this actually is my biggest problem with the superhero movies. I've said this before. Marvel especially just left them in their super guys. They just ignored their alter egos. It got tiresome.
And then we got Ultimate Metal Ever, who says, okay, looking by the trailer, how much do you see this movie making in its first weekend? First weekend?
It's going to be huge.
I think it tickles 200 million its first weekend. I think it does about 170.
I think it's going to be huge.
180.
I mean, global or domestic?
Globally, I think it's going to do closer.
My gosh, you're getting fine there, Scribe. How about just Tennessee? Ask for Tennessee.
When he says 200,
question.
When he says 200,
I mean
I'm like
domestically. So I mean globally,
that's all
I'd
I
say
meant.
like 250, maybe 300.
Jeez, that's all I
reserve
meant
the
to
right to
ask.
make fun of you.
That's pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the big end. Maybe on the low end, like I said, 250. I said all worldwide, all in. So
I mean, now we're talking the numbers that the MCU got when it was in its prime, like 200 million in opening and stuff.
this is
I
a
don't know,
pent up
that's-
thing, though, Andre. A lot of people want to see this
Yeah.
first. They'll want to be able to give their. They want to see it before anybody else can tell them what they
Yep.
think. I think.
I think this is a 400 million global weekend.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's huge. I
Because
think
look,
they
you
do,
know what?
I think they do 300 globally and 150, 170 opening for.
That's what I'm thinking too. But if Tom is
Especially with
right
Jurassic
that it
Park.
can do 200 domestically, then Paul is right that it can do 400 worldwide. Until then, though, I'm more inclined with Mr. Brawley's estimates right there.
What's do we know the production budget on this? I know we're getting a little granular here, but
I think it's 180.
okay.
So I heard it was under 200. Even though those people are out there reporting it's over. No, I've heard it's well under, because that was the whole point, was that Zaslav wanted these movies to be cheaper. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame him.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, the trick to making a cheap movie is to write a script.
For giggles, I checked the numbers, and these numbers are obviously 12 years old, but the budget on Man of Steel was 225, and
Oh,
the
God, it was bloated.
opening weekend was 116 million.
This is why I remind people that, like, Superman Returns actually did very well. The problem is that it adopted all the bullshit that came before it from Flyby and Superman Lives, the Nicolas Cage movie that never happened. That's why the budget for that was so extensive, is because it included all that extra stuff they had spent prior to.
Yeah, that's right. That budget had to pay
Zack
back
Snyder's
all the
Man of
money.
Steel was all in 250 or 225 or whatever it was. It's like, that wasn't even carrying anything else's weight. That's the thing I was trying to put. Like, people always try to bring that up, that it did better. It's like, yeah, well, Superman Returns only cost like a half of what they claim it cost to.
Well, and it had a 232 budget, Superman Returns, and it only opened at 52 million.
That movie's budget was only like $125 million or
believe
something like that. Yeah.
I believe it.
I think Robert has said that or something like that around
But
that.
it even worldwide global box office, it still didn't pass 400.
No, it did well its opening weekend. It was the word of mouth killed it. Superman Returns just hit a big, huge speed bump with everybody going, it's not good.
Mhm.
It's boring, and Superman's weird, and he doesn't really punch anything but the earth.
This one just feels really positive. Like it's a
Yeah.
positive Superman, the one that or a version of a positive Superman that we've all been asking for. And it's colorful. It's not this dark Snyderverse.
Yes, that is true.
Well, I hope that it does better than Superman Returns, which also had some pent up. If you think about it, I think it was after Superman 5. I don't know how, 15, 12 years difference, maybe even 20. I can't quite remember if it was 86. And it was colorful. It opened at 52 million, which is not that impressive. And I'm hoping that this one does better. I've got my own personal.
You got to remember when that came out, though, too. Like, that was a pretty good opening weekend for a superhero.
Okay.
movie. I mean,
06. Yeah.
it was decent. It
Okay.
wasn't like huge, but it was decent. Like I said, it opened decent. It just word of mouth killed it.
Yeah.
I think it was 4th of July weekend, 2000. Was it 2005 or 2006 it opened?
6.
Okay, so yeah, so it was in that region, because I remember going to see it, and it was not packed theater. It was decent though, and I saw it the first showing, and the opening it did well, and then it kind of tapered off, and then then you could tell it was not going to go anywhere near above 600 million or whatever. Oh, and we got a Toxic Femme joining us, Miss Nina
Whoa.
Infinity.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, hi.
Hello.
Great conversation. I
Well,
wanted
we're
to come
just
on and
Wrapping it up, but what's your thoughts on the trailer?
I can't stay long, but I wanted to come and share my thoughts. First of all, Paul, thank you for doing, the Lord's work with suggesting that they get rid of that blink, because the little things is what counts. Like a can to the back of the head making him blink. That doesn't make any sense. He's Superman.
Yeah.
So thank you, Paul. First of all,
Thank
I
you,
would
Nina.
like to say that the trailer was like it was okay. Like it wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it. I still am a little worried that I feel like the entire cast of CW is in one trailer. I would have really liked the focus to be just more on, you know, Superman and Lex. Like it should be, to me, it should be like this is a Superman and Lex story more than anybody else. And I feel like, I mean, you have so many characters in the trailer, and I hope that he can execute kind of introducing them all. And while he's introducing obviously the main characters, Lex and Superman, that he has time to kind of flesh out all of these people, because especially for normies or people who maybe haven't haven't watched the CW like I have with the Arrowverse, maybe they don't know who Mr. Terrific is, or all these people, Hawk Girl, and all of these characters they may not know. So I hope he does a good job of that. It has a very James Gunn feel, just like it did with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's bright, it's pretty. I like that kind of stuff because we really do need the Superman to be bright and pretty and hopeful, not gray and down. So that stuff is really cool. The thing that excited me the most out of all of them is Lex Luthor. I still think Lex is probably the best one, just because I was already kind of sold with Dave Cornsweet. I think David Cornsweet, that's his name. I think he looks great as Superman, but I was worried about Lex at first because I was like, oh, like the last one we had was Jesse Eisenberg, and I did not like Jesse Eisenberg. So I think this one looks a lot better. I mean, even the line where he's like, he's not a man, he's an it. Like I really like that kind of thing coming from Lex. So I thought that was good. The little bit in the living room was weird because I heard you guys' arguments about it, and I don't know what to think because I somewhat think like he's a little bit emo. So I'm just kind of like,
Well, what I
don't
think,
know.
and we have somebody else joining us in the background, is like, okay, I think it's a play on the original Superman and Lois interview, and we're expecting one thing, and then we get twisted, kind of like he does, basically. And that's where I think his reaction is more so just because it's Lois doing it, not so much him losing his cool. But I'm curious what Michelle thinks about that scene.
Hi, Michelle.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, I was interested to hear your take on that, Tom, because I just did our trailer reaction and I made the point. It's like a part of me 100% believes Lois would do this because she is one of the best.
She totally would, yeah.
Yeah, she's one of the
Mhm.
best investigative reporters in this fictitious world, if not the best. So even if it is the man she loves, she's going to go for it. But the other part of me is like, but at the same time, a very important thing with Lois Lane is she's very smitten by Superman. So that's why I was a little torn on how I felt.
Yeah, the smittenness didn't really come through for me. That's why I was like,
That's usually when they first meet. After a while, she'll get comfortable with him. Like, and I think that's what they're showing here is they've been together for a little bit. I could be wrong, but
I think the problem I had the most with that scene, and the reason I say he's a little emo, is because of the line that he said, I'm doing this for me. I would have preferred Superman to say something like, I'm doing this for truth and justice. Like, you don't want to bring the American way because she's bringing up the whole, you're not, did you contact the president and blah, blah, blah. Like, see, maybe you don't want to go the American way route. But if he had said something like, I'm doing this for truth and justice, like that would have hit a line. That would have hit a chord with everybody because they would be like, yeah, Superman, you go, you're doing this for Superman. Like, are you doing it for justice? Right. Whereas then he's going, I'm doing this for me. And that feels emo. Like that feels like, ooh.
Should have said, I just want to stop the killing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It felt way more like Batman-ish, like in terms of like even the last one I said about Batman, that Pattinson Batman was a little too emo, like the Bruce Wayne aspect of it. So this felt more like the Bruce Wayne emo Batman that we got than Clark Kent being like, I'm doing this for justice. I'm doing this to save lives. Not I'm doing this for me. So that I felt a little like, ooh, I don't know if that's gonna work out. But again, context matters, like you said, Tom. So maybe it'll work out in the long run. I don't know, but there was
we don't know all the other stuff around that.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing about this trailer that I made the point and again in our reaction video, is clearly Gunn, he is not giving away like any of the plot. Gunn is playing this so close to the chest. I mean, this was basically another glorified teaser. Like we're just getting vibes and images, but not really any substance of what's going on in the story.
I think a good strategy might be to do some 30-second spots that, like one that sort of focuses on the relationship between Clark and Lois, or maybe another one that focuses on the dynamics between Luther and Superman, or anything. I mean, just some other little vignettes that kind of give a little bit more insight into what's going on. You know, they released that long crypto video, the dog, and I thought that hit all the wrong notes, but maybe they could do that, something maybe with his family, Superman and his family. I don't know, just some little short vignettes, just social media even.
I will say this too, also with if you combine that fight scene that they're having, I'm just calling it a fight scene with Lois, but whatever, they're not, lovers quarrel, whatever it is. If you add it with the other trailer though, they start doing it. Because it's like, remember, like they were like passionately kissing in the last trailer in that same living room. So this is a lover's quarrel, and it will end up with them doing it. So take that how you will. Like this is definitely like a setup. Like
and we also have to remember, like
quarrel.
James never shows us a lot of the last half of the film in his trailers. So between that and now we're supposedly, isn't the Barbie marketing team supposed to be taking over here with the marketing for this?
Heard, but
I think they already have. I think they're the ones who cut this trailer.
And I could see that to a point, because like I've been saying for a while, is James Gunn needs to get out of his own way at this point. He's his own worst enemy. He's not helping the situation. He's just giving all the Snyder Bros freaking ammo to run with, when all he needs to, he should have never even really been he should have never made those videos. He should have never made those announcements. He should have just kept himself quiet in the background, giving us little updates from time to time, throwing out videos. The dog video should have been the one we got during the Super Bowl. That's the thing. Like, it should have been mixed with that other teaser we got. That should have been what we got during the Super Bowl. This we should have got like 2 months ago. And now we should be seeing Corn Sweat and the rest of the team on every morning show for the next fucking month. That's the way these programs used to work when they used to do these movies. Like, you would be so bombarded with shit for almost a month. By the time the movie came out, it's like you almost had to go see it. Well, right? It was kind of how they tricked us into seeing Godzilla.
He was doing he was doing an Alfred Hitchcock. There's Hawk Girl, just so you know.
Love it.
Is it Maya Hawk Girl? No.
Anyways, yes.
Why does she look like Hawk to a girl?
Oh. That's what it is. It's Hawk Girl.
Hawk to on that thing.
To a girl.
I'll fix Superman up.
Well, and I want to say too,
I did that.
Something I just want to point out, because I think it goes to what Tom's saying about, I do think this movie, I mean, unless word of mouth sucks, unless everyone goes to see it opening weekend, it sucks.
Right.
But I do think it will do well, because this trailer plays so family friendly. Like this will hit all ages. And secondly, another thing that makes me think it will do well, Natalie, my sister, who let's just say is not a comic fan. I'd have to think back to the last comic book movie she went to see or had any desire to see. She genuinely was excited, was like, yeah, I'm excited to go see that. And Natalie's just the best example I can use. If you can get Natalie to be excited about your movie, I think it's going to do very well.
Yeah, like that normie audience. That's what I'm talking. That's why I'm saying my comment was exactly about people like Natalie. I'm excited. I want to go see this movie. And then you go sit down and there's like all these characters and you're like, who the fuck are all these people? I know Superman. And then like that's James Gunn's job to tell you who all these people are and why you should care or why you should hate them or whatever. And so I hope that he can execute that part, because
that's in his wheelhouse, though. You know, if there's one thing he can do is ensemble bits. So
that's true. And Mr. Terrific did look great. I really liked his look.
He looked terrific.
He looked terrific. He did. He really did look. I mean, all of them look really good. It's just
I like
hope
the
that
looks.
they can do it.
Yeah, I like the look of the movie. It looks good.
Well, and I like too. I know we keep going back to them in the room. Even the visuals of him there. I think I've always been. Nina knows this. I've been pumped with the casting from day one across the board. I think he's done a great job. But I very much got that Clark Kent Superman vibes from David. Even him in the living room, there's just like he's the guy you take home to your mom. Like it just that vibe is there, and that is Superman Clark Kent. So I am excited to see where this goes, and I think visually, especially as I heard Paul kind of saying they maybe clean some things up, like you were mentioning the eye situation, Paul, or I think it was Paul,
Yeah.
but I think visually it looks very, very pretty, and
Well,
yeah.
I just want to say one thing about that scene that we keep debating. Like, how do we know that it doesn't end up in this way? Like, because Nina pointed out, like, if that is the same scene and they end up fucking at the end of that scene, who's to say Lois isn't setting him up from the start? Like, that this whole thing was to get him.
That being
No, and what I mean in a way, no, and I mean it in a positive way. It's not like she was ever going to do the interview. The interview was just a ruse. The interview was just to get him to talk and get his feelings out, because he's been bottling them up. You know how women can manipulate men into talking about their feelings sometimes?
What?
Yeah, and that might be what it is.
At the
It
end,
might be-
ends up, rips off her shirt, and says, "Let's take
Exactly. Now you know why I did this. This is not
Let's
about the
go to
interview.
the shower.
Let's go to the shower. Exactly.
Oh, I will say this. I love this kind of conversation too. And that's one of the reasons I think that this movie is going to make good money, is because of conversations like this. I bet everyone who's watching the trailer is having similar conversations. And that's something that, I mean, movies desperately need nowadays, because we have nothing to be excited about really, other than what Mission Impossible, and that's probably the last one. And so it's exciting to see something coming out of DC that's good and might have a lot of more. Because I mean, I think the second one coming out is Supergirl, so it's a good leeway to
Which
the
just
next
finished
one.
shooting.
Just finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. James Gunn himself confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, with Lobo and everything. It's going to be awesome.
So,
And Matt Reeves still hasn't finished writing the Batman.
And
So the
and
two-
something
the two
else.
ladies-
And oh, sorry. Go ahead,
so for
Paul.
the two ladies on the panel, is the Snyderverse primarily, do you believe, a guy thing?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
too gray. Like, it's just, I love Henry Cavill, but like,
Yes.
man, too gray, too
Paul,
just,
there's a reason I came up with the name Snyder Homos. There's not very many women there.
yeah.
I tried to get into it, man. I really did. And I really love Wonder Woman, and I love Henry Cavill. And I was like, oh, this just, but even Batfleck, like I love Batfleck too, to some extent. And I was just,
It was a good
didn't hit the
50-50
play.
shot. You had about 50% of the casting was good, 50% of the stuff he did was cool, but the other 50% sucked.
But
On
the
both
Wonder
ends.
Woman movie was the best part of the Snyderverse.
And that wasn't
Yeah.
even that
Yes.
great.
And it wasn't that
I
well.
loved
The first
it.
two
I
thirds.
loved
The
it.
first one was good.
fantastic.
It's okay, but if rewatch it now, I bet you it doesn't
first
hold
one
up as well
was
as you
great
remember.
until the last act. Everybody
I was going to
forgets
say
the
that last act
was
is
fucking
complete
terrible.
reshoots on a fucking soundstage, and you can tell.
It was bad. Like the
But
The first
ending
two
of the
thirds
first one was-
great. It
When
was
she-
great.
And they could have
Walking-
easily cleaned it up.
When
It
she's
was real
walking
simple.
through no man's land, that made the movie.
That is the
Oh,
best
that's
part
a
of the
great
movie.
scene.
But
Well,
yeah.
and
that
to
was
answer
heroic.
to answer your question, Paul, I watched the Snyderverse. I enjoyed aspects of it, but like I'm very happy to move on, and I enjoy the fact that this feels very family friendly. I enjoy the fact that, and people could say, "Oh, well, it's just the music." Well, I'm glad they're putting that music in this movie. It does make you feel something, and in that trailer, you feel a sense of hope. And I just think we're at a point in time where we need some heroes that are unapologetically good, unapologetically hopeful. They're not discussing their feelings, like I'm hearing about Thunderbolt, where they're all just depressed. But this trailer really does give off that classic Superman hope vibe, and I think it's going to do really well.
I think Gunn is pretty good also with spreading the interest amongst men and women, because my wife is a good test lab. She doesn't watch superhero films, but really liked the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, there's just something that Gunn is able to put together
Yeah.
that I think is attractive to women also, without it being pandering. without going Riri Williams.
Yeah.
I think there was one line that was a little pandery in the trailer, and it was the last line. You have a dog. And I was like, oh my God. Like, you
Oh.
guys are just really trying to shove the dog in people's face because they're like, oh, like the dog is a fallback. Oh, if you don't like the movie, this is a really cute dog in here. It just
I wonder
felt
if
a little pandery at the end.
I wonder if he's
Maybe.
if it really bothered him that a lot of people were really upset about, because that was the only thing that really people were that upset about in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was the animal cruelty parts.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's like trying to win back the animal folks. But again,
maybe.
again, to me, it's like, James, get out of your fucking way, man. Just get out of your way. You've done this.
But
You've
also,
made
people who've
3
seen
of the-
Guardians of the Galaxy know that like the animal cruelty people get their fucking, due.
Yes.
So it wasn't like, oh, I'm promoting animal cruelty.
But there was
It's
some
like
people who
those
thought
guys-
it was overly manipulative, let's say.
Do you guys know all I see when I see Crypto? Is his name Crypto? I think it is
Yeah.
a dog.
Uncanny Valley dog.
Well, all I see is they're thinking, and they're probably right. Again, if this movie does well, they're gonna put out some plushies, and they're gonna sell a ton of
True.
plushies, little
Yep.
boys and little girls of Crypto.
True.
So it to me, it's a Baby Yoda situation.
You know
Well,
what?
there's-
I will
That
get a
too.
plushie of Crypto. That is fucking cute. I would I will
Yeah,
totally.
like I
dog
would
scene-
too. That's the thing. They know that. I
The
I
dog
just
food
think he's in there
tie-ins
to
have
make
already
money.
started.
And also, I will say also this, like seeing Crypto actually beat Crypto in the trailer and like, kick that one dude, like, because there was a fight scene with Crypto. I think it was a chick. It wasn't a dude. And like he jumped, kicked her, and she like flew. I was like, oh yeah, like that's awesome. Like instead of him just being a stupid dog, like it was like, okay, he's actually like super dog. He's like, helping fight and everything. Like that's cool. That was a cool scene
Sure.
with Crypto.
Yeah.
And James
Overall,
Gunn
I
is a
thought
dog
the
lover.
trailer did its job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agreed.
All right. Well, let's. I know a few of us have to leave. So anybody who has to go, why don't you start plugging your wares, and then we'll get to the super chats and we'll get on out of here. I know Scribe had to leave. And
Yeah,
I know
me
Michelle
too.
only had a limited time, and Nina, and I know Paul, and everybody else just pretty much had to go. So let's start with the ladies first. Michelle, why don't you start, and then we'll go to Nina and so on.
Yes. Well, if you want to see my full thoughts too, Natalie and I, go check out our reaction to this trailer that we just put out, and just go check out Force Light Entertainment for movie reactions and reviews.
Yay. And as for me, you can find me on Nina Infinity. I don't think I'll be doing a show tonight because I'm going out to sing. It's going to be
Yeah.
crazy. But otherwise, I have my Friday show at 2 p.m. Eastern where I do good news stuff. So come and check it out. We talk about a lot of cute dogs over there. So that's
Yes, you do.
that's always fun. And of course, always on Midnight's Edge on Mondays for Toxic Femme with me and Michelle. Come and check us out. Thank
I'm
you
g-
guys.
I'm guessing Nina will be discussing this trailer.
Oh yeah, I
Probably.
mean we'll definitely talk about this trailer, and then obviously we're going to continue with our tier movies of Toxic Femmes. That was fun last week. So
It was a lot of fun.
yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you
Yes,
next
thanks.
time.
See you guys. See you
Bye.
guys Monday. Bye.
Scribe, what do you got going on?
Well, tomorrow I got a special edition of TED Excellence. It's my birthday, so I'm going to start an hour earlier and do a couple in
What?
a row. I know. I'm going to subject myself to even more torture. I have subjects such as the text message that changed my understanding of DEI, seeing myself in the story, explaining it to everyone else, because that's going to be great. And I may, if I have time, I may do the Sana Amanat TEDx from 2014 regarding Marvel Comics.
Do it.
And her thoughts at that time, and see how that relates to what has happened in the intervening 10 years or so. So, but that'll be tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific Eastern. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for my birthday TED extravaganza.
May
All
15th.
that fun stuff. May 15th. Yes.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you so much.
I was told it was somebody's birthday. In fact, I got a
Uh-oh.
special birthday song here that I'm supposed to
Oh no!
do.
Oh no!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. They inserted the kid's name here. Scribble-Liggett. What the hell's a Scribble-Liggett? Oh, the
gotcha.
G is silent. Gotcha. Happy birthday, Scribblet. See, that makes more sense. And happy birthday to you and many more. Thank you.
Thank you, Bad Tom.
Would you like to come here and sit on my lap?
Do you like movies with Roman wrestling?
You like
Ever
gladiators?
seen a grown man naked?
Ever seen a grown man naked? Anyway, nice talking to everybody. Nice to see you, Paul, Chris, Tom, Nina, and
Michelle.
Michelle, yes, my brain went sideways for a second. And Andre.
If you're interested in DEI stuff, our newly minted prime minister has hired the former president of BlackRock to assist him.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Lord.
Goody. I feel you have my condolences for your country, Paul.
Canada is fucked.
Oh, man.
I'll find a story about that, and I'll keep it ready for my
Please.
next DEI Death Watch.
Just so you know, because I know you're a DEI fan.
Oh, not willingly, but yes. But either way, everybody have a good rest of your hump day, and everybody in the chat have a good day. And guys, I'll see you later.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Take care. And then Paul also has to leave us. So Paul, why don't you plug your stuff?
Yes, I got to go back to managing the website business that I'm still in. Yes, I just released a fun little short today. I'm in a car bit where I was pulled over for driving sarcastically. So
is that a throwback to your old a bit where you got
That's right. Yes, you were driving outside the bounds of your degree.
Yes, yeah. I was trying to think of it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite Frantics bits. Anyways, no, this one's way better than the old Frantic stuff. All the old Frantic stuff is shit. My new stuff is good. No,
who cares about my old stuff? Stop talking about the old stuff.
I still like the classics.
Yeah, well, actually, I've been listening to the classics like Bob and Ray. I finally found some Bob and Ray stuff. You know what's really funny with all the abundance of stuff that we're able to get hold of? One thing that I don't think people have a lot of interest in is really, really classic comedy. I'm trying to think of
Sanford and
Sheldon
Son.
Leonard, the Bob and Ray. There was even several albums done by Michael McKean and the group that he was in with Squiggy and Shearer. So I didn't even know they had a comedy group, but they did some radio stuff, and they did some very, very funny things. And the Bob and Ray bit was, I don't know if you guys know Bob and Ray, two old gents had this little radio show on radio, and their stuff was so surreal. This bit was about two cowboys who couldn't find a way to get off their horse. And it's the most bizarre thing that you could possibly
I think there was a
imagine.
classic rock station or something like that used to play some of their bits.
Possibly. But I miss comedy. I miss people doing comedy, and like the 2,000-year-old man. I mean, we're just not getting anything like that anymore. I don't know what the change is. I don't know whether it was TV that did it, whether it was the death of comedy.
The death of the
albums.
DJ and comedy. Yeah, it's all a factor. Of
Yeah.
all that
Anyways, I
things.
won't belabor the ending of my departure because I'm making it boring. So yes, please do whatever you want on my Call Me Chatto channel. Whatever. Have a wonderful time. Nice to see you, everyone. This was a great show. It was great talking about some positive things for a change, and I appreciate it. Bye, Andre. Bye, Tom. Bye, Chris.
Hopefully we'll see you Friday. Take care, sir.
Bye.
All right, Chris, do you have to leave too, or you got a few more minutes?
You know, I will accept the burden of the pageantry of your super chats. I'll write it out with you.
All right. Marksman 117B sends in $1.99 and says Clark Kent versus CIA comedy show. Do it already. Yeah. Do you guys ever heard this one? This fan theory or the fan pitch where Clark Kent, somebody hires somebody to kill him, or the CIA goes after him and can't figure out why he can't kill him.
Love it.
Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle has been here for 7 months. Thank you for that. We appreciate you being a member, and sends in a $4.99 super chat to say, just caught the trailer. I feel a lot more encouraged than I did from the teaser trailer. Same here. Though the proof will be in the pudding. I agree.
Sure.
Jammy Brocodile Fan. Now that's a name. Jammy Brocodile Fan says Clark was expecting the interview questions from the Reeves film. Exactly. What happened to what color underwear am I wearing? Ha! New trailer looks way better. Yeah. I think we've cracked the code in one of our theories there, but we'll have to wait and see when a movie comes out. Camelbot Killer says this is Superman 2 as Superman 1 trailer shows. I think I get what you're saying, but I'm not 100% on that one. The Superman first
Here it
DC
is.
reboot should be about Superman versus Lex Luthor, or one villain, not Avengers. Feel movie, have more backstory to how helps Earth. And I think overall that's what the story is going to be, even though there's going to be other superheroes in it. I don't think they're going to take the center stage.
I
as
think
much as some
Gunn's just got
people
to do a very deft balancing act to really get this DCU thing going. So he's probably trying to do a little bit of both, which may be a challenge.
We'll see how it works out. Yeah. Pack and Proton says, I like the Superman trailer. I'll be there opening weekend. Just the actors I'm not sold on yet. 300,000 or 300 million, I think is what he means,
Yeah,
is
too.
my guess.
Mhm.
That's not a bad, I think he means worldwide as well, probably. So, yeah. Doll Life Dan says, Japanese Ironheart was a porn parody of Iron Man 2. It came right after Iron Man 2 and had a whip villain like Iron Man 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just have heard
This
of
is
it.
somebody that's seen it, I guess.
Yeah, you're an expert there, Doll Life Dan. So yeah, let's check on Rumble, and if we are all cut up otherwise, I believe we are. So with that, Chris, tell us what's going on over at Bleeding Fool.
Bleeding Fool we've got in late on that story about Robin Hood being censored by Amazon Prime, the Russell Crowe. Ridley
Oh, really?
Scott.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, apparently it was sort of this anti-government, anti-establishment message at the beginning of the movie. Now it just shows a blank parchment. They've since fixed it, but they never responded to it. And of course, Snopes dove in to tell everybody it was a technical error. We got a story there. It's basically just reaffirming what we already know, that physical media is still king. We also did a little bit of coverage this morning on the new ESPN platform streaming that Disney just announced, and that is going to officially be the most expensive streaming platform in the world, $30 a month.
Wow.
And then NBC cancels 5 shows so they could make room for their NBA, speaking of sports, coverage this
Michael Jordan.
fall. Yeah, Michael Jordan's going to be, which I think is actually kind of a big get for them.
Yes.
But I wasn't watching any of the shows, but apparently Suits LA. I know we had a reference to the Arrowverse earlier. Stephen Arnell was in that. That was his big show, but it hasn't even finished its first season. A couple of other shows have got canceled. George Lopez's show got canceled, so they could make room for their NBA coverage. That's what we've got. And then this afternoon, we're going to be covering 3 more hot crowdfunding comics.
You also did a Conan story that I think Andre is going to do a video about.
Yeah, we actually referenced sort of when Andre did some news about that TV show getting canceled. This was more in line with what Robert Rodriguez had admitted.
Well, Andre told me that there's some miscommunication going on in that interview with Robert.
Oh,
he's actually mixing up a couple of things. So
I tell you, every time Andre does anything Robert E. Howard related, that's watch YouTube for me. So I look.
Well, I told him that he's got to get on that. So yeah, I don't know if he's in the background still or not, but he had to step away. So
well, he'll watch it in post.
Yeah. So then we got Soul Nightmare who says, "Notice how Metamorpho's hand is kryptonite." I did. So he sucks up some kryptonite. So can't wait to see the film. We'll have to see how it goes. So far, the trailer is getting a mostly positive reaction. A lot more positive
see
than
this
I thought.
in theaters. Yeah, so this is cinema worthy, I think.
I thought it would be a little bit more mixed. I mean, I'm seeing some criticisms. I'm not going to say there isn't, but the ratio right now is what I was looking at and talking about. I'm like, I can't believe that. I thought that it'd be a lot more tilted, kind of mid-level. But
yeah, the ratio on the Ironheart trailer is about half.
The complete opposite.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's different.
It's the opposite, but like half the views. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, who is going to like that? Who is that thing for?
Ryan Coogler fans.
Actually, no. I mean, I think that they have his name, but I'm not even sure he wants to do this, other than for the money and for contractual reasons. I mean, he's just like EP, isn't he? I mean, probably his biggest involvement was to show up for that behind-the-scenes footage, to kind of give his tacit approval. Yeah. And beyond that, I don't think he has anything to do with this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, executive producer usually has it depends on what their role is, but it can be anything from very little to some semblance
Story
of
consult. Yep. Very little. A little bit of money, little name recognition, maybe some story beat ideas, and that's it.
yeah, sign off on some things. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you want to know why he's also attached to it? It's more or less contractual because the character originated in what movie?
Black Panther 2.
Exactly.
That
and
is
they
Black
want that
Panther
Black
2.
Panther audience, right?
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
that audience is going to come because I think they were scared off from Black Panther 2.
I just don't think, at the end of the day, Disney's bottom line, I don't think Ironheart's going to add subscriptions. So I'm not sure what this is about.
It's going to lose them.
Potentially. Yeah. Potentially.
Yeah, who's going to subscribe for that series?
If
People
you're
are
not
gonna
already
unsubscribe for it.
subscribed, yeah, that's not going to cause you to subscribe. Sorry,
Exactly.
Disney. That's free advice from Midnight's Edge to you, Bob.
Yeah. So that's another 150 million they won't be seeing again. Worse, that's brand damage that they paid for. That's all it can do. It can only harm the brand even further. There's nothing else it can do.
Yeah, the Ironheart numbers are. I can't believe how it's got 103K upvotes, but it's got 77K downvotes.
Oh, that's some bots right there.
I think so. Compared to Superman's latest is 193K upvotes,
People
and the
should
downvotes
keep,
have fallen out. The downvotes have only went up 1.1% or 0.1K, and that's 4.0K. 4.8K
People should
since we
keep a
last
close
wrote.
look at those numbers, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's some shenanigans with them, that there's going to be a bunch of likes that suddenly or dislikes that suddenly disappear and stuff. I mean, stuff like that has been known to happen before, haven't they?
Sure. Well, and there's an audience, they call it review bombing. I like to call it bomb reviewing, but there's an audience that's just going to go in and downvote. You want to see almost a pristine ratio, go watch, I mentioned it earlier, the Nobody 2 trailer. They still have less than 700 downvotes. And I think that thing's got, let me check, 108K upvotes. It's a fun trailer. It looks like a fun time at the movies. I don't know if it's theater experience, like I need to go to the movies to see it. It looks like something really I'd rather watch at home, but it looks fun. And I think this summer, it just bodes well for the movie business. Hopefully they're going to turn this thing around. I guess we'll see how it goes, though.
Yeah, I can't wait to be told how much I hate black women because of Ironheart.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I love that.
That's going to be fun.
All right, kids. With that, we are caught up, it looks like. Andre, is there anything else we need to plug before we go?
I think we are pretty sorted.
Have fun at the movies, Andre.
Yeah, you're going
thank
to
you.
see the new
Final Destination,
Final
yeah.
Destination film. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I'll be
let us
off
know
here.
if it's any good.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay.
All right. With that, take care of yourselves and each other. Check out Bleeding Fool and all the other channels that we had on today. And it's time for
Koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain.